Hello. A lot happened in the last week, week and a half. Uh, I about made that video about quitting neurosurgery, and honestly, I didn't expect that many people to see it. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot from everybody's responses. I think there's a narrative. There's a narrative in this, in the society that we have, that you have to be successful. You have to do. You have to have a good job. You have to do everything that you're told to do, and then you'll be happy, and you'll be safe, and you'll have lots of friends. You'll never feel lonely. Not just a job, but like having a home, having kids. Those are all nice things. But there's a narrative that if you don't have that, then you're gonna be sad and lonely. You won't have friends. You'll feel worthless. There's a narrative that I certainly bought into. Probably other people have bought into. I mean, at some point in their life, maybe not right now. But I think the fact that the story I told resonated with so many people tells me that narrative is not actually right. Sometimes following that path, like I was trying to follow, sometimes that leads to being unhappy, and actually being alone. So there's so many stories that people have shared in the comments about doing what was not expected, or doing what people told us not to do, and that brought them immense happiness and meaning in life, peace, friends, a community. So that was really surprising to me, because when I left neurosurgery, I have my wife. I live with my wife and my doggie, and I have some friends from work, and but it felt really lonely, because I felt like I was doing something that nobody else was doing. It's not true. There are a lot of people doing what I did, and now I know that. And I think a lot of people know that, and I think that feeling that I'm doing something that nobody told me to do. In fact, they probably told me to do the opposite, and I'm doing it, and I'm not alone. There's a lot of people that feel this way. That's really cool. So yeah, the people that are watching this video, just want you to know that whatever you're going through, you're not alone. Whatever you choose to do, even if it's something that people said you shouldn't do, you're not alone. That's one of the main takeaways I learned from last week. I'm still kind of getting used to so many people knowing my story. Again, I didn't expect that many people to watch that video. So yeah, I'm still getting used to it. I was eating Thai food with my buddy, who reconnected with me after seeing that video. I hadn't seen him for several months, and last time I saw him, he was going through a really hard time. And I hadn't seen him for several months. And I felt bad that I hadn't seen him. But it was good to catch up with him. But that made me think that there's a lot of feelings that I have that I just kind of push under the rug or kick into a box and throw it in the closet and hope it never comes back. There's feelings, there's all kinds of feelings. And I've been examining these. I just wanted to share. I wanted to share about examining bad feelings and what to do about them. So that instance I was talking about was, oh, there's a spider here. Hello, spider. It's a white spider. It's interesting. Don't bite me. Don't bite me. Yeah, negative feelings. So, seeing my friend, feeling bad that I kind of left him in a bad spot and I didn't keep in touch with him. Yeah, that's regret and guilt, also sadness. That's looking at the past. Usually these negative feelings are something to do with the past or the future in relation to the present. Bad feelings that are from the future are fear, worry, anxiety. Well, for instance, I made that video, and that's probably the most important video. It may be the most important video I ever make. I don't know. I don't know the future, but for a while there, I was thinking, oh man, I don't think I could ever make another video like that. Maybe in another 20 years, after I've lived another 20 years, I could make a video like that. And so yeah, I started to worry and feel a little anxious. Also, the story, the message that I told was it might hurt my former colleagues. The people that trained me, they put their life into teaching me how to do surgery, teaching me medicine. The story I told, it may help them, but it might hurt them too. And yeah, there was that worry. a little bit of fear. I didn't know how they would respond. Um, and the whole aspect about shame too. So shame. That was kind of the whole video, the last video. Like, I was embarrassed of quitting without a plan and walking away from something I invested so much time in my life into. And that's shame. And what do people think about it? Yeah, so there's all these negative feelings, and people are asking me, whoa, how do you feel now that video, millions of people watched the video? Yeah, you must be feeling awesome, amazing. And yeah, I mean, it was really cool to see a lot of people share their stories and send their love, and and I send that love back to all of you. I love you all. Thank you so much for all the kind comments and encouragement and sharing your story. So I send that love back to you and peace back to you. But yeah, with those good feelings also came bad feelings. There's some comments about how we gotta protect this guy from the capitalist system. Now, how is this guy's voice not silenced? Yeah, I didn't really think about that too much. Yeah, so there was a little bit of fear about that. I was like, oh, is big pharma and capitalist medicine and I don't know who else are, maybe they don't like what I said. And so yeah, it was a little worrisome. I was thinking, oh well, people are going to figure out who I am at some point, and figure out where I live and where my doggy lives and where my wife lives. So there are all those feelings. But my mother-in-law, she and my wife is awesome, as you know from the prior video. But her mother is really cool too. She was telling me that I really need to embrace the emotions. Really examine them and become friends with them. Not just the good ones, but the bad ones as well. And I wanted to try to explain, what that process looks like, because it's not something that I've ever done in my whole life. I'm 40 now, and whenever a bad feeling comes up, I just try to hide it, I try to bury it. Yeah, but when all the stuff happened last week, I felt like these things that I had buried were coming back to life, like a zombie. Like you bury somebody and they turn into a zombie, and then their hand reaches out from the grave, and then they climb out, and then they're walking around. They're dead, or they're undead. They're walking around, and you thought that they were buried and gone, and then they come back. And so I realized that you can't run from the bad feelings. They will always come back. All the things that you try to hide from, they come back in some form or another. And so yeah, the last couple days I've been really trying to think and feel and process bad feelings. Those ones that I told you about. fear, regret, sadness, guilt, anxiety, worry, sadness. I try to imagine inviting them into my home and making tea for them and addressing each one. We'll say fear. Address fear and say, "Hi, fear. You've been a big part of my life, but I've tried to ignore you my whole life. I'm really sorry about that. I'm sorry that I tried to ignore you. I know you're there. I know you're part of me. I know you're just as part of me as much as love and peace is. But I didn't want to let you be a part of me. I tried to fight you. So I'm sorry about that. Please forgive me. I thank you that you are part of me, just as much as all the other emotions, good and bad, are. And I love you. I love you, fear. Welcome to my home. You're welcome to live with me. You're welcome to live with me with all the other emotions. There's guilt and regret right next to you. They're kind of cousins. And there's worry. I think you know about worry. There's also joy and peace and love. They've been in my house for a long time. But I welcome you too, fear. And so I just did that with all the emotions that I could think of. I did that with my feelings about collapse. Collapse is kind of the gradual or sudden decline of civilization. And some people think that we're living through that right now. And collapse could be anything. It could have to do with the environment, our climate, our the animals and plants going away, insects going away. It could be just social, our living conditions, our quality of life. It could just be our access to food, clean water. It could also be our resource depletion, like running out of easily accessible fossil fuels to power our whole way of life. Even though we have renewables, but our main source is still fossil fuels. Running out of that's part of collapse. But that was a really big part of what I used to think about. And I welcomed all of them into my home. And I told them, "You are my friend. You are part of me. I can't run from you. I tried, and it just came up in, you just came up in weird other places I didn't expect, and said, 'Hello, I'm here. Notice me. Well, I notice you fear. I notice you regret. I notice you anxiety, sadness. I notice all of you, and I accept you.' So I did that, but I felt like there was one more that a big one. And I was imagining inviting them into my home, and there was one more big one. But I didn't know that emotion's name until yesterday. I was driving to pick up some food for my wife and I realized, oh, I know what that big guy is. He was really the biggest one out of all of them, but I couldn't think of his name. And it's pride. I've been a very prideful person my whole life, even though I may try to look humble. I think inside I was very prideful about a lot of things. I was prideful that I went to MIT, that I was a neurosurgeon, that I could figure things out, whether they're science related or just whatever else related. I was prideful that I could go into the mountains and survive and not die or get lost. And there's a lot of things that I was prideful about, and that was sort of a little different, but I had to accept that that was part of me. And say that Hawaiian prayer to pride, which is please forgive me that I haven't really acknowledged you as you are. I'm sorry that I haven't. I thank you for being part of my life, and I love you. That Hawaiian prayer is really powerful. And I think by welcoming all of those emotions as part of me, then I can live as a whole. I'm not half a person or a third of a person. If I accept that, yes, I can be kind and gentle, I can also be violent and hurtful, whether intentionally or unintentionally. If I accept that, then I can accept that I am me. I'm a human. I exist. And all of these parts of me exist. Not sure why I was talking about that, but I did want to share that because I've never done that in my whole life. Over 40 years, I've never said to a bad feeling, hey, you're welcome in this life. But I think it does go back to this idea that if you don't do what you're told, then life's gonna be awful. And also, if you do what you're told, you're gonna be fine. But then most people think, or a lot of people, including myself, were doing what we were told to do, and we felt awful, miserable. So, and we kept living that way and saying, oh, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. I'm doing everything that people told me to do, and I feel bad, but I shouldn't feel bad because I'm doing everything I was supposed to do. So I'm just gonna hide that bad feeling. I'm gonna put it in the closet. That's what I did. Oh, spider. a jumping spider. This is a different one. This is black. It's a little tiny one. It jumped away while it's actually sitting here. Alright, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So, myself included, but in reading the comments, I think a lot of people are doing what they're told to do and then feeling awful. And then saying, I should feel good, but I feel bad. But I should feel good. Doesn't make sense to me, so I'm just gonna hide the bad feelings and try my best to feel good. I learned that's a good way to run yourself into the ground. That's like getting dragged behind a truck and just the rocks and asphalt just chewing away at your skin, straight down through your muscle, down to your bone. It's not a good way to live. So, yeah, I think that's what I learned over this last week with people's stories, is that if you're true to yourself, if you accept, oh, I have these bad feelings, what are they about? Why do I have these bad feelings? Well, I have good feelings too. Why do I have those? Oh, but I accept the good feelings, but I don't accept the bad feelings. If you do that, then you can't really be a whole person. You can't really see what's happening. And so, I just wanted to encourage everybody that it's okay to have those bad feelings. Of course, it's okay to have good feelings too. But it's okay to have the bad feelings. You can accept them into your life and say, hey, bad feeling, whichever one it is or a combination. Say, hey, bad feeling, you're there. I see you. I see that you're trying to get my attention. I acknowledge that you're there and that you're part of me. And then by doing that, I think it frees up your mind in your heart, your whole person, to really see things for what they really are. And then when you see and you accept, that is an empowerment. It gives you power to live. It gives you power to choose. It helps take you away from thinking about future things that may or may not happen and past things that did happen, but maybe you remember a certain way, but maybe it didn't happen the way you remember. You know, it takes you away from the future and the past, and then it brings you to the present. And in the present, that's where we actually live. We don't live in the future, we don't live in the past. When you accept good and bad feelings, then you can be present and you can see things for what they are. You can love the present. You can love yourself. You can love the universe. You can see that everything is everything. We're connected to everything. We are everything. And from there, you can truly live. You can live fully. Yeah, I think that's what I learned over the last week. With the help of all of you people all of you that have shared your stories and commented, and also, from my loved ones, my wife, my mother-in-law, my friends, the people that I lost touch with and then reconnected with over the past week, and also the people that I have not reconnected with, but I think about, like the people that I hurt in my life, both intentionally and unintentionally, both professionally and personally. Um, just thinking about all those things. That yeah, we're all connected. Life is both very complex and simple at the same time. So yeah, I wish you all peace. I wish you love. I wish you presence, to live here, now, right where you are, right here in the present. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you.